Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. Hope everybody's doing well. Wait, I believe everybody's doing well. I have faith everybody's doing well, and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again. I got another amazing guest, Bradley Woods. And before he tells you anything, I'm going to tell you a little bit about him before we get into it. So Bradley Woods was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, but currently lives in Columbus, Ohio, with his wife, Kelsey. I'm excited about that because I'm from Ohio. If those of you that follow me, I'm from Ohio. So yes, got to represent. He has on that shirt today, so I got my hat. I had to show it to him. Yeah, I'm out here in California repping. So let me get back into it. So Bradley developed a love for personal development at the age of 22. He received a copy of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, one of my favorite books. This sent him on a 20-year journey of learning to apply everything that was in this book, which he still does to this day. Bradley is an expert that teaches others how to get clear on what they want and to build masterminds with others that can show them how to get what they want quicker and easier, rather than experience the repeated frustration of learning and doing everything for yourself all the time. Yes. How you doing, Bradley?
I'm doing great, Luke. Thank you for having me on your show, man. I've been a big fan of your work for a long time, so it's nice to be able to be on your show. It's a dream come true.
Yes, man. You know, we've been connected for quite some time, even though we don't talk all the time.
Yeah,
It feels comfortable and very natural talking to you, especially fellow. We both born in Ohio, and just connecting with each other, man. Just to know that you're there at any time, even though we ain't spoke for a long time, but just to know I got access to you, it brings comfort to me. And just I already know that we're going to
yeah,
connect at the right time, and this is it right here, and
I
it'll
believe
happen
that.
again. So let's get into that story you was telling me about
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
20-year journey. I
So,
know y'all read a bit about it, but I'd like to hear it from you.
so yeah, this is the kind of the abbreviated version because what I'm saying it's been 20 years,
Right,
but so 2022, I was college. I'm a college was a college athlete. Played soccer at the University of Cincinnati,
right,
and I was also studying engineering at the time. And part of my job, there was a conflict where um, my degree required me to co-op, which is essentially you have to work for 3 months out of the year, and then you'll go to school for 3 months out of the year. Well, when
right.
I got to that part of my degree, um, I lost my scholarship, for lack of a better term. And
Wow.
so a lot of the money that I had to go to school and university was gone, dried up. And I made a tough decision at that time because I was working really hard. It was only a partial scholarship, so I'm working. I had a job. I also was playing soccer, and then I'm also studying engineering at the time. And I was just overwhelmed at the time. And
Right.
said I got to find something different. So that was when I was working in a library, and a guy invited me to an Amway meeting. It was called Quick Start back then, and that's how I got a copy of Think and Grow Rich.
Right.
And I'm not in that company at all anymore, in network marketing for that matter. But the dream of having time and money freedom really stuck with me,
Right.
and so I just really I just embraced the struggle at that point. I got clear about I was starting to get clear about what I wanted to achieve, the type of lifestyle that I wanted to live, and I realized playing professional soccer wasn't it.
Right.
So I cut that cord soon, and it was painful, to be honest.
Yes.
Change is definitely painful when everything you've known about your life, you cut it off. It's
Right.
not a easy thing to go through.
Right.
But so I just read that book. That's basically all I had. I didn't have any money, and I was just reading that book over and over and over and over again. And what happened was within that first year, the company that I was co-oping at, they actually offered me a really nice job, the same job I'm at now. Um,
Okay.
and so I've been up in Columbus ever since. And that dream of having time and money freedom never died. And so that was around the time like blogging was getting really big. It was probably like 2003, 2004, 2005, around that time. And so I got into blogging. And I would read books and read audio programs. I would get programs from Nightingale Conant. I don't know if they're still around anymore, but
Right.
they used to sell like personal development stuff like Joe Vitale and Bob
Yeah, Joe
Proctor,
Vitale. I know who that is. Yeah.
D
And Nightingale.
Martini. Yep.
Excuse me.
And so, and Strangest Secret and all that stuff. So I was
Stranger's
cutting my
Secret.
teeth on the Strangest Secret, Sleep the Field.
Yep.
I was just cutting my teeth on all the classic literature and audio programs and just reviewing them and teaching on them and then, offering it like an affiliate thing type of deal.
Right.
And it never really went anywhere. I made a little bit of money, but that wasn't really my thing because I've always believed, like they talk about in Think and Grow Rich and the Law of Success, the best way to learn something is to teach it to others.
Right.
So that was always
It's
my
true.
big thing. I didn't really care about, the money so much as I knew I was learning the material and that it was going to help me in my own life. If I made a little bit of money, that's great, but that wasn't really it.
Yeah.
So did that for a minute, had some successes online, had a couple big, things that hit and I made, thousands of dollars, but nothing like crazy.
Right.
So fast forward to like 2015, um, I really started I was getting into internet marketing and I was really, that was when, like around that time was when I really started to realize you have to invest in yourself.
Right.
The people that
Absolutely.
are the most successful, were investing in themselves. And so that's when I started investing in a lot of the more higher end coaching programs. I was just taking the money that I was earning and putting it right back in, personal development
Invest in
stuff.
yourself. Right.
And so I did the Bob Proctor coaching program. And right before Bob Proctor coaching program, I think this was 2015, 2016. Russell Brunson, I don't know if you heard of him, he created ClickFunnels, which is a private company. This guy's made buku dollars online. But he released his first book. It was called .com Secrets. It's like the underground playbook to making money online.
Okay.
And that was when I realized, like, you have to get yourself around the people that have the information that you want,
Right.
and
Exactly.
you have to just do everything they say do. Don't leave any stone unturned.
Right.
Just follow the details and go through the steps. And sometimes that
Absolutely.
sucks, but that's kind of how I cut my teeth. So I started to make, decent money. I started making about $1,000 a month online, which is nice when I'm not doing anything for the money, just running
Right.
some ads. And I have
That's
another full
good.
time job too. So that's
Awesome.
like extra money. It's great. Um, but at the same time, I was looking back and I'm like, I was spending a lot of time like creating content
Right.
and writing emails where I was almost spending like 30, 40 hours a week doing this. And I'm like, well, do I really want this? And I mean, I definitely want to have time and money freedom, but I realized like it's almost like a catch 22. Like I'm making money online so that I don't have to work a full time job. Meanwhile, though, that part time job is starting to become a time creep, and I'm spending
Full time job.
all my time. Like I got now, I really got no time.
Right. You're
And so I started to
investing.
realize, like I'm making money, but is it worth it?
Is it? Yeah.
Because my wife is pissed at me. I got money, but what's the good of the money if your relationships are poor? You don't
Right.
have any balance in your life. So I was like,
You got to have balance. Yes.
and that was when it clicked for me. Because I've always been in masterminds, really to start to get into masterminds seriously, where I was say, okay, what do I want to achieve, and then work at surrounding myself around those types of people. And so
Right.
that was around that time where I met a guy who became one of my principal, basically business partners, Mark Santos. He created this software called Noble Goldman, but it's essentially just like it's an online platform that he created. But the
Right.
reason why I liked it was because I was making a lot of money, not a lot of money, but I was making decent money doing like group coaching. I had my own I had a paid mastermind group,
Right.
and um, the people were getting some knowledge, but they weren't able to necessarily apply it. I realized you have to be able to apply your knowledge, otherwise it's not going to stick.
Right. Right.
Um, and so I started partnering with this guy Mark. He created this software that allows people to be in a mastermind with me, be able to promote the mastermind, and also to create income from doing it. And so that's kind of what I've been doing. Um, and there's really two components. Like I'm not trying to get into like a business spiel or anything, but there's my big stick is really two things. One, accountability program, and the other one is masterminds. I
Right.
don't see them as being the same thing. So
Right.
accountability part, I have accountability, a couple people that I'm accountable to, but then I also have another weekly mastermind that I host as well. But the accountability, so the difference between accountability and mastermind is that the accountability is 1 to 2 people that you meet with, say about 5 times a week, very short. What we do is you say at the beginning of the day, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this. And then at the end of the day, we'll meet and I'll say, okay, what did you do? You have to give account to the group of what actually did you do that day. And
Mm.
this has been that's been a powerful thing for me because, it's quite easy to talk about what you're going to do and then not do it. But when
Right.
you
And
put something
oftentimes
in,
we do.
and it's
It
very
just
easy.
sounds good saying it. But I mean that is a great start to talk about it
Yeah,
first because
for
but
sure.
you gotta jump onto that wheel, jump
For
onto
sure.
that bus, of talking about it, being about it. But
Yeah.
go
And
ahead.
I think that's what happens. So give you accountability program will give you a chance to, put it out publicly to people. And when you're selecting accountability program, it's not your wife or your business partners. It's to be
Right,
someone that you know, but not like close. So they're
right,
not judgmental. They don't have any preconceived bias against you. They just want to know, did you do what you said you were going to do or not?
right,
And that was a game changer for me, and it's still a game changer for me in order to help me to quickly correct myself when I'm slacking off. I know it very quickly because I
right,
have my people that I hold myself accountable to.
right.
But then a mastermind is a little bit different. So a mastermind is usually between like 6 to 8 people optimally. The meetings are an hour. They're for 10 minutes. What we do in my group and what I teach is I'll give you Bob Proctor's. He has mastermind principles that he suggests, and we all take turns reading
I love
these
Bob Proctor.
principles. Yeah, I'm such a huge fan of Bob Proctor.
Yeah.
I did
And
his coaching program.
he's um a very big fan of Napoleon Hill as well.
Yeah,
Like yeah, Napoleon Hill is pretty much a mentor of his. So yeah, the way
and
he
I believe
studied.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
He actually worked at Nightingale Conant too.
Yes,
So I thought that was
exactly.
pretty cool. He's in Canada. He moved to the United States to work
Right,
with Earl Nightingale, and that was
right,
when he was working at Nightingale Conant. So it's kind of
right,
cool that I always talk about that. Like think about that. I was an affiliate way towards the end of it, but he was
right,
probably there, right at the beginning of when they were getting big in the '60s and '70s.
right. Yeah, I've
And
listened to a lot of segments over the years and read a lot of his books. Bob Proctor's book too. He has the other book, You Were Born Rich,
yeah,
and he has Thoughts or Things. I've read that. Yeah, he has a few books that I can't think of, but yeah, I've read a few. I have a few of his books,
yeah,
and yeah, he got some powerful stuff, and I've listened to a lot of his segments too, along with Nightingale as well.
oh yeah,
And they
and it's
really are life changing. The advice, the things that they say, man,
mhm.
it really
What's
resonates, man. But it
it,
will call you out.
it,
Hmm.
it calls you out, and I think it's cool because it kind of like metamorphosizes in terms of where you are in your life. So like you can
Right,
listen to something and you go through life and you listen to that same recording again, 2 years later, 3 years later, you can
right,
literally see your growth. You can see
right,
the kind of trajectory and because it hits differently, you get the
right.
different
It
things out of it
does.
that you don't
It
hear.
does. It can sound like a foreign language at first, and
Yeah,
then later on, it sounds like this sounds like me right now.
yeah,
So yeah, it does, and that's why I believe in also Bradley taking in information that you might not necessarily understand at first.
yeah,
Just allow your subconscious mind, your mind to chew on it.
yeah.
And help shift your paradigm. You know all about that paradigm shifting. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
And,
And
and, and another thing I got that I'm getting from you, man, and I just wanted to highlight, I want you to
mhm,
continue because I,
yeah,
I really love listening to you, man. But just how you've been through uh, adversities and still going through things. To me, I like to equate that to like uh, creating a sword. It doesn't start out as a sword. You got to put that in the fire and let it get broken down first till it gets shaped into that sword. And that's exactly what
I
you
tell you,
remind me when you tell the stories about the college and the money funding dissipating and everything, and just things you going away because you didn't and I'm pretty sure you wanted to, you didn't fall apart and fell apart. You actually picked up those pieces and start putting them back on the chessboard and figuring out, how can I elevate from this? How can I learn? Or how can I take a different direction? And that right there is a testimony to people out there, because everybody goes through stuff. And I believe that's where we start our major changes and transformations, when we fall down.
Yeah, I think it's all a matter of perspective. Like when you look at many of the successful people, you read autobiographies and biographies, you'll see that the people that are the most successful often had to go through the most problems, the most heartache,
most problems. You're exactly.
And that's really what made them. If they didn't have that, they wouldn't, be in that position. And so
isn't that
it's wild.
That's
but it's
wild
all a matter of
happens.
perspective. It's all a matter of perspective, because not everybody's going to receive it the same way. Some people like it beats you down and that's it.
It can beat you down, and you can let it beat you down.
Yeah.
You can let it keep you down and end up this. But even if you equate it to a lot of, like, for people that can relate to this, to a lot of what we consider like our top entertainers, legendary entertainers. Rewind back. They all went through some tough stuff. I mean, everything, man. Poverty, everything, man. And abuse, and that just propelled them to just be extraordinary.
I think it was Frank Bedger. I could be wrong. You can check me check me in the comments if I'm wrong. But I believe the quote is, success is going from failure to failure without a loss of an enthusiasm.
There you go. Yeah, I think that was him too. I've read that quote. Yes. Without any loss, yes. That can be difficult, but when you start shifting your mindset, it's not very difficult, because even like this platform, for instance, the old me would have been attached to whatever numbers that I feel is generating, but now I do it because I know it's what I'm here to do. Yeah. And I'll do it whether it's 10 people, 1,000, 1,000,000, or one person watching it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing it and sharing the same, radiating the same enthusiasm, because I'm learning, and it's helping me to be reach towards my highest self, and build me up intellectually and emotionally, and just and where your intellect goes, everything else goes. You know that when you strengthen that mind, and you got certain tools, and you correct that mindset and eradicate that poverty thinking and that failure thinking, and have that solution-based thinking and that resilience and all that, you already know your life takes a different turn. It just does. You look at things different too.
Yeah. And you are who you associate with. And I think that's one of the things for a lot of people. Like, when I'm working with people and they tell me what their goals are, and they say, I tell them, okay, well, you got to start, meeting people that have what you want. You got to you actually, and those are the people you're going to take advice from. You have to be careful, who you listen to. But sometimes that's hard, because people that are very successful, they're very, stringent. I mean, they'll spend time with the right people, but it might not be that necessarily easy to get their attention.
Yeah, a lot of them are hermits.
Yeah,
they're to themselves. They got people they affiliate with business-wise, but a lot of them on a personal, a lot of them are to themselves.
Yeah,
you get the.
I have to be true to myself, because. And this is, I'm getting off a tangent, but that's because I think you have to be protective as spiritual beings. We've learned to be protective of our energy.
Your energy, yes.
So you're not going to let people get close to us until we're sure that you have a energy, that we resonate with. Because otherwise, you're just going to set us off and get us off.
I've cleaned out of my closet plenty of times, and it's not that I have this mindset that I'm better than anyone, but I do want to have people around me that are actually, like you said, with that mindset that are serving, not serving to enhance, and we're enhancing each other's lives, and not bringing me down to these conversations that I don't want going into my
Right.
ears, like
Right.
gossip about people and talking about people. I don't want to hear that.
No.
And I'm just being straight. I don't want to hear that. Let's talk about
Right.
some ideas.
Yeah. Let's talk
Let's
about
talk about some
possibilities. Let's talk
solutions
about,
and possibilities, and
opportunities.
even travel. Let's talk about travel, different
Right.
cultures. Let's talk about some stuff,
Right.
let's talk about some success and prosperity and health. And
Yeah.
even if we talk about health, and different ways to eat, something that's going to enhance my experience. I've
Yeah.
already left that other stuff behind. And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying I'm better than anything, but I'm trying to be better than who I was, not better than anybody else. Whatever their energy and whatever paradigm they want to stay in, I get it.
Right.
But this is what I'm doing. And this is the type of people I'm attracting into my experience now. And that's just what it is. And most people don't understand. The people that knew me,
they don't.
they're like,
They
he
don't.
thinks he's the reverend and he's just guru now. No, I don't think none of that.
Right.
I'm just evolving
Regular
and growing.
dude. Yeah.
And following my passion and following my intuition and reading and affiliating with people and exchanging thought currents and getting on that level that I want to be. People that are on my thought current level or higher
Or above.
or
Exactly.
above, pull me up. I want to learn.
Exactly. I think ultimately we should be, one hand down to help lift other people up.
Yes,
But
I
also
will
saying
help
we got
those.
one hand up, somebody else is pulling us up. But what you're doing here, I think, is one of the best ways to get around people that might be of the higher caliber than you is by doing like
Exactly.
a reporter type of podcasting. You can
Exactly.
literally if you get somebody on a podcast, they could be a coach that costs $5,000, $10,000 to join their mastermind, but they go on your podcast. I mean, you can get an hour of their time to ask them any questions you want.
Right.
And
Hey, say no more. I've already had a few people. One that stands out is this quantum physicist who retired from NASA. His name is Dan Matthews. And that man,
I know Dan. I've seen him around.
Yeah, you've seen Dan Matthews. I've had him on my show like 3 times. So just loving to engage and absorb some of that knowledge and stuff that he has, man. Not saying that he has everything right. I don't know what he all has in this, but I do know that he has acquired. He's older than I am too, and that's some energy I want to pick up right there.
It's smart to your success is determined upon your the experience you get, and you can either get your experience from your own hard knocks, or you can be smart about it and get your experience from somebody else that's already been down the road that you're traveling on. Right. So you don't have to make all the same mistakes and you can get there quicker. And that's really
it's
all
also,
I'm hitting on.
Yeah, it's also an encouraging, and I'm sure you can attest to this, that someone like Dan Matthews would want to spend some time talking to me. That says a lot about me too, because I don't think he would just sit there and talk to anybody that he wouldn't really add any value to him, or wouldn't take it seriously what he has to say, or might drain his vibration, his energy. And so that's why I say I'm moving in the right direction. If I can attract distinguished gentlemen like Mr. Matthews, hey, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly. And I think that's all it's about.
You too, man.
I feel that way sometimes, but this is like probably another tangent, but I've had to just addressing my character flaws in myself. Yes. I have to be mindful of my ego.
But see, you're aware. That's the thing.
Now I am after
same here.
Looking back.
But that's okay. That's okay. The thing is, Bradley, everything that you've been through, even though you might say, man, and took this long, it was supposed to happen, because now you're where you are now. And if you didn't go through everything that you already went through, you wouldn't be where you are now. And you got to remember, not to compare us to anyone else, but I'm just making a reference point. There's a lot of people that never get to that place where they're able to look at themselves in the mirror and start shining a light on their flaws. A lot of people are in denial. They don't see anything wrong. Or they're just so heavily sedated and programmed by family, religious beliefs, the news, the media, that they just don't see anything. It's a big cloudiness. And you are able to at least acknowledge that.
It's
and
tough
when I believe that there's a power within that,
Yeah. I
a
agree.
strong power, because when you can identify, your shortcomings and things, whether you still are struggling with them or going through them, I like to say. I don't want to say struggling with them, but going through them.
Like you're saying, it's a matter of awareness. I wasn't aware, but looking back on my life, I realized, things I've had multiple. If you're looking at your life and you're looking back at it, first make sure you get yourself around good people,
Right.
and your environment's good, and then you realize, okay, hey, I have my own limiting beliefs in myself that's causing me to. There's nobody else is holding me back but me and my mental thoughts. And so, but you don't necessarily say, people say, what are my limiting beliefs? I'm like, what? And what I realized now, I came to this conclusion was because I'm looking back at my life and I'm realizing I got repeated behaviors where,
Right.
I it's the same things keep happening over and over
Over
again.
and over
And I
again.
asked myself, why? Why is this happening? Why am I having all this success? And then all of a sudden I just flatline. You know
Right.
why? It was because I realized that I thought I knew everything.
Right.
And once you think you know everything, you shut yourself off from any new information and any new
Right.
growth.
Right.
And so now I'm like, okay, this time around things are popping, but that's great. But I know it, there's another side of that coin. I need to keep my ego in check and realize I need
Right.
to keep learning and growing because this has happened before, right? And
Flow through those ups and downs too.
yeah, Jay
Better
Z,
equipped.
say the same, it comes back around.
Right.
Um,
Right.
but it's just I think that's it. Learning from my mistakes and being honest with myself. I don't think that's an easy thing to do. I agree with you. And it's
Right.
because it hasn't been easy for me. It's been hard for me because I want to be Mr. Perfect.
Right. It takes, yeah, I think we do. I want to make sure I say this carefully, but we do need to hold ourselves accountable, but at the same time, not be too hard on ourselves, especially
Yeah,
when we know that we are working towards something. And
yeah,
any little step that you make, I think it needs to be celebrated. And even if
yes,
you slide down, back down, you just climb back up again and not be so disappointed. Like, man, I messed up again. I said I wasn't going to get angry, or I'm just throwing out things. I said I wasn't going to drink. I said I wasn't going to do this. I said I
yeah,
wasn't going to do that. And here I did it. It's like, nope, you just got to say, you know what?
yeah,
I flowed, I had a little lapse right there. Love myself. I'm still that work in progress and that masterpiece. No
yeah.
matter what, I'm doing what I'm doing, and just keep on doing what you're doing.
I think
Because
that's such a good
I
point.
disappoint myself. I'll be honest with
Yeah,
you, often, but then I have to fix that thinking, or I have to go read a book that I know that talked about that and say, let me get back into this, man. Okay,
yeah,
this is what this man, this successful, philosopher, author, whatever says about that, So,
right.
okay. So then I tell people all the time too, and I'm saying it less and less because I have to have confidence in myself. But I said, I'm
Mhm.
not giving you advice from me. I'm giving you advice from what I learned here, from
Yeah,
this book here. So, because, oftentimes people, why would I listen to you? Well, I'm not,
right,
I'm telling you what Napoleon Hill said.
right.
So you can't put the blame on me. and the thing is, it's both sad, but it's just the way it is. A lot of times when we're in a position where we want to take a position of or leadership, whether it's leading something or creating other leaders or whatever, especially here in Western culture, people want to see
I'm the
physical.
expert, the guru.
They want to see
Yeah,
physical stuff, like what you got, that
right,
I should listen to you. What you got? What kind of car
right,
you got?
right,
Yeah. They don't just want to listen and say, hey, doesn't this, what I'm teaching you, help you to connect more with your peace and your own power? No, they want to see what you got. you
right.
know
About
what you
stuff.
got? Oh, I ain't listening to you. You ain't got no big house. Oh, I ain't listening to you. You don't drive a Ferrari. I'm it's like, no, man.
Yeah,
That's not, I mean, that's fruits and branches, and I get it. You don't want to listen to somebody that you feel that's a failure, but what's your definition of a failure? How do you know that's any of my goals?
right.
Because it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying we all want to reach those, certain things. We all have different wants. But I
Yeah.
believe no matter what you have or don't have, you got to be good with yourself. So get your
Yeah.
mind right, and if I can help people while I'm trying to get my mind right in that process to get their
Yeah.
thinking right,
Yeah.
which is going to take everything else right, what's going to lead everything, open everything else up and help you be more fulfilled with yourself in your life,
Yeah.
you know?
It makes me think a lot about, I don't think it's in Proverbs. I'm not like a Bible scholar or anything, but,
Right,
seek wisdom first and the money
right,
will follow.
right.
Don't
That's what
don't
Master
get
P
so concerned
says.
about things. Master P says it too.
He says it. He says, I don't pray for money. He says, I
Yeah.
pray for wisdom, a
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
And then
Because with
that
that
comes,
knowledge comes the money.
that comes. Then whatever I want comes. When I have the right knowledge to apply to whatever, I can draw in whatever I want. If it's money I
Right.
want, I got the knowledge to do that. If it's peace, happiness, if it's health, I got the knowledge to make that happen. So I get what he's saying.
I
And
really
it,
want to highlight. I really want to highlight one other thing. With Think
right,
and Grow Rich. It's about, why we read it over and over again is because you're constantly keeping your mind right. It's brain food, especially when you're
right,
first getting started. Like, that
right,
was my first book and I read it over and over again. That was all I had. But I know if I was reading that book, I didn't have time to think negative thoughts because I'm focused on
exactly,
reading the book. So
exactly.
if I can spend the majority of my time reading the book, I know I'm spending the majority of my time being positive.
Right.
But growing
And
up in
filling
the
up your
industry,
brain with that. Yeah,
exactly. I'm just absorbing it. But just, I grew up in not the best situation. We didn't
right.
have a lot of money, so I had a survival mentality. My mom
Exactly.
couldn't always provide. My dad couldn't always provide. So it was always like, if I want to get something, I got to do it myself.
Right.
And that mentality has served me well up until a certain point.
Point.
I
Right.
think that was why I was so stuck, because I was trying to do everything myself.
So, right,
There's a better way. You don't have to work hard to make money. You don't have to work
right,
hard to attract the things that you want in life.
right,
If you can surround yourself with the people that have what you want or are in the same boat and they're working to get there, and you can
right,
share tips and share resources, share
right,
knowledge with each other, so that
right,
everybody gets there quicker.
right.
And
You can
once
all
I had
build
that
momentum
realization,
together.
yeah,
Yes.
once I had
Yes.
that realization, that's when everything opened up for me.
Right.
I started seeing a lot more opportunities. I was invited to more things, you know, the because I was open and receptive to the people that had the same vibrational energy as me. It allowed me to be open to new opportunities that I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. Uh,
Exactly. And that's amazing when those things start, those circumstances and
like synchronicities,
yes, start
things
to
happen.
align with you and you see it. And
Yeah,
then you have sometimes some doubt in your head, like, this is just a coincidence, or just no, you got to remember there's some power working within that.
yeah,
It's not
for sure.
just something that just happened, because if you wouldn't be making these shifts, you wouldn't be attracting these things. They weren't going to just come anyway.
Yeah,
You made it happen that way.
yeah.
And that's
I
what we
believe
got to
that.
continue to remind ourselves of, that
Yeah,
because we just look at it like, my life was gonna go like this anyway. And no, it
right.
wasn't. No, it wasn't. Because you're doing something on purpose. And so things
Hmm.
are happening on purpose. Just like if you go and become a robber and keep robbing stores, eventually you're gonna draw something on purpose to you, which is most likely jail or prison.
Yeah,
That's what you attracted on purpose. So
right.
you're doing something else that you're attracting other things on purpose now, you know,
Yeah.
and that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, I just
Absolutely.
wanted to highlight that because I think that's a big part of why I even got to having the mastermind. Like
Right.
I read that book 20 years ago, but you know I wasn't. I was masterminding. I have a thing. My main mastermind members was my best friend from high school and my stepmom.
Right.
While they're both positive and they're both highly successful people, I
Right.
don't think they were the optimal people to be masterminding with because they didn't have the same goals as me.
Right.
They
Right.
were obviously sympathetic to what I was looking to accomplish, but they didn't have the same goals as me. But when I really got to that place where I humbled myself and realized, as much as I'm working to apply to Think and Grow Rich, I haven't been applying this like I should, and I really need
Right.
to start looking at who can I mastermind with
Yes.
that wants time and money freedom too. And
Right.
that's when everything was just like, and it's been like that ever since.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that is a
and
blueprint. Yes, that book led me to read another book, and I don't know if you read it, but you got to pick it up if you haven't. And that's The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill.
oh yeah, I'm reading it right
Yes, that's that
now.
thick book.
Get it right here, see, read it.
Yes, I got it. Law of Success. I got it. Yeah, I
I
got
said,
it too.
yeah.
Yep, that book. Yeah, I mean,
Just read that one over and over again. That's the only
what's
book you really
amazing
need.
about that book? It just covers everything. I mean, he talks about, and I'll just tell you how deep it gets. He talks about using enemas to clean yourself out every month, just stuff like that. I'm talking about
Yeah,
stuff that's
he was way ahead of his time.
way ahead of his time. I'm
Because
talking
I
about,
think that was in 1920
yeah,
something,
working on your
1929,
mind,
something
your
like that.
body, cleaning yourself out. I mean, stuff that people would be embarrassed to talk about, but it's real stuff. Like, hey, do this. This is
Yeah,
what's successful. What I found to be successful from studying all these people and being around all these people. This is what they're doing. And I'm like, wow. So he giving
yeah,
you all that knowledge that it would take any person years and lots of money and resources to be able to collect all that knowledge from all
right.
these tycoons of the time and then put that in one book for us to absorb all that.
Yeah, I love that one. Think and Grow Rich. Law of Success came first, and then Think and Grow Rich because people were like, Law of Success is too long. You
Oh,
know,
I
so that's
love
why
it.
they came with the Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, I
But once you
love
read
that
Think
book.
and Grow Rich and you want to go deep, you got to go back to the magnum opus and study Law of Success and read it over and over again
What I'm
because it's so
just when
dope.
I hold that book in my hand, I feel like a scholar, man. I feel like the energy
It's
from that book.
massive. Yeah,
Yeah, the energy from that book just puts you in a different place. And
yeah,
knowing that you
for sure.
invest in, like you said, you investing in yourself when you pick up those books. You're investing in yourself. And
Yeah,
that's the most precious investment you can make is in
for
you.
sure, for sure.
Something to
And
elevate you. Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's not just really an investment, also always of money, but it's an investment of your time
Your
and your
time.
attention
Yes. Because
and focusing what you want.
you're gonna put your attention somewhere. And something else that you said that stood out to me, feeding your brain. And I learned this from listening to like Joseph Murphy and
Yeah,
Neville Goddard and
yeah,
a
Rabbi.
preacher from Reverend Ike.
Yeah,
They said your brain, they all said this, your brain is gonna feed.
yeah,
It's gonna feed whether so you choose what you're gonna feed it, or the world will choose what it's gonna
right.
feed on. The media, the radio, other people, their conversations that they throw at you, they're gonna
Yeah,
feed you. So which one is it?
exactly.
Yep.
I rather choose what goes into my mind than be
Yes.
subjected to what the whims of the
Right.
world with what I give my attention to. So
Yeah.
yeah,
What
I
next
limit like the
fear?
news. I don't
What
even really
next
listen to
fear are they
research.
gonna throw at you? In the
Hmm.
media, and I'm not even gonna get into that. But what you're gonna be fed something, or
Hmm.
what you should buy to make you relevant or to make you
Yeah,
cool or to make
that's
you
why. That's why.
successful. If you wear this, if you put on this,
Yeah,
you're considered successful. It's like, no, you decide,
that's why I love your music
Yeah.
because one of the best ways, as to uplift your vibration is with music. But
Right.
sometimes the music isn't always positive. So your music not only is uplifting somebody's vibe, but it's also consciously reprogramming their brain to think differently at the same time.
Right. I
And
appreciate that, man.
it's an amazing thing. And people I don't think people realize the power. The smart ones, obviously, I do think realize, what you're doing and how powerful it is if you
Right.
let yourself listen to it. If
Yeah.
somebody vibrates with you, you listen to their material. I've been listening to your stuff for a minute.
Right. And
Um,
that's my intentions right there. Is to I know music is very powerful because it taps into our emotions,
mhm,
our thoughts. It's repetitive. We repeat it, and
mhm,
so I decided to create lyrics that people can listen to that's actually feeding them, like you said, feeding them with some good stuff that's actually
yeah,
reprogramming, those neural pathways and those subconscious mind. And to share something with you too,
Yeah.
I listen to my music, but I'm gonna be honest with you. And this tells you I'm not just trying to just advocate just for my music, but when I'm reading, I listen to music too. But guess what I'm listening to? I listen to like instrumental or like
No
classical
words.
music, like Beethoven and
I like that
Sebastian
chill
Bach.
hop, lo-fi stuff.
Yes, like I
Stuff like
listen
that.
to the classical Sebastian Bach and
Yeah,
all
Baroque.
that stuff. Yeah, man, Vivaldi and all that. I listen to that, violins, and that just puts me in a different mind frame when I think
For sure.
about that. It makes me feel like I'm refined and I'm reading and just listening to the, man, it just puts me in a different energy. So, and sometimes I listen to like meditation music and stuff like that. But other than that, I like to listen to music with no words so that I'm not being fed anything. I'm not thinking about any other words, just instrumental. And I'm just can absorb the words of the book.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. Some people can listen to music with words and read at the same time, and they're okay. I can't do it.
Well, one thing I've been talking about, I've been studying Robert Greene, and he
Robert
talks
Greene.
about
I like Robert Greene.
total immersion. So a lot of times, like what I'm doing right now with that Law of Success book, I'm actually reading it, but then I'm also listening to the audio book at the same time.
Yes, I you know what? I just did that with another book. This book I was reading by Florence Scovel Shinn, and I was actually following along with the audio book, and it was called The Secret Door by her. And man, it is a power in that too.
You completely get absorbed into the text. You're hearing it, you're seeing it, you're feeling it with your hands, as you're flipping the pages or whatever, or scrolling with your mouse. So your whole body, your whole being is into
it. Yes.
And that's like the best way to
that's another level higher than how I do it, listening to the classical music and reading it myself. So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
It's not always easy. I'm mostly an audiobook person myself because I'm mostly on the go. So just having some headphones in and listening to stuff is great. But if I'm at home and I got some time, I think that's the best way to really absorb material is to listen to it and read it at the same time.
Follow along with it. Man, powerful. I love hearing that because I love books, man. I love educating myself and priding myself on being self-educated and learning intentionally, things that have more enhanced my life than any other traditional methods of education. And I'm not putting that down because I think everybody should aspire to get education. It teach accomplish something, depending on what you want, accomplish something,
The hard problem I have with our educational system is like I never got good grades in school, but I always been a curious person, and so I was never one to compete with somebody else because I went to like highly competitive schools and everybody wanted to get the best grades. I didn't care about that. I just wanted to pass my classes.
Albert Einstein didn't get good grades.
Yeah.
Thomas Edison didn't get good grades either.
I just wanted to study and learn for myself. And I think that's what's missing nowadays is people need to learn how to learn. It's not just memorizing text for the test the next day or the pop quiz that comes up. But how do you transform yourself from thinking one way to thinking another way? How do you if you have a belief, how do you break that, realizing it's a false belief and then implant a new belief in place of it?
Definitely.
It's not taught, and I think that's really what's missing is
yes, it definitely doesn't teach you and nurture your individual's creativity and individuality. It definitely doesn't do that. It doesn't nurture that entrepreneurial spirit within each individual. It more nurtures almost like cookie cutter. You learn this so you can go fit into this piece. You learn this so you can fit into this piece, not really being an individual and capitalizing on your own self and your own ideas and cultivating and nurturing that. It's the traditional education system isn't built like that.
Yeah. It's like a genius. A genius isn't somebody that just knows a bunch of things.
No.
A genius is somebody that could take one discipline over here, combine it with some other discipline over there, and they're completely irrelated. And they bring them together, and people say, "Oh, wow, there's a genius. I never thought to do that before."
Right. When Thomas Edison started putting those inventions, or any inventor. We talk about other inventors. They didn't get any concepts from school to create that stuff. That was just ideas. They just start thinking and it just came to them, you know, and they start doing that. You know, Benjamin Franklin was flying that kite, you know, to get that, to check that electricity and tied that key on there.
Yeah.
He didn't get that from, oh, my teacher said to do this. Nah.
Right.
He starts saying, man, I wonder what would happen if I do this.
Exactly.
You know? And
try it. And intuition, I think that's the thing. You got to be willing to kind of go with your gut sometimes. And sometimes things aren't going to make sense.
Yeah.
And I find you just got to act fast. If you take too long and think about it and deliberate on it, you're likely not going to do it. But if you have those moments of inspiration and you get that big idea, at least get started on it. Don't wait.
And that's what these guys we were just talking about did. They got an idea from something so considered stupid by some, and they just got an idea and they went with it. They didn't just sit there. They started thinking about it and they started moving in that direction. And
go deep with it.
Now we hear about them, and they've been gone from this physical plane for a long time. We still hearing about them.
Yeah,
because they created they followed something. They didn't just talk about it. They did it. So yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, even like with Newton, the laws of physics and all that, the Newton, when the apple fell on his head, that created some kind of thought in him. Like, man, why did this apple fall down on my head? And then he went.
Why did it flow up? You know?
Yeah. Why didn't it go up? You know, so, and then every other person, millions of people would have got that same thing and wouldn't have thought nothing. They would have thought, oh, apple fell, I'm gonna eat it. This guy started thinking, like, I'm gonna figure out why this is like this.
Yeah. And I think that's the part of that's a challenge. You know, orthodox studies has you believe that you have to believe one type of way, and if you believe outside of the norm, then you're inherently wrong, or even at worst, it might say you're evil or whatever.
Right.
But you have to be able to break from the molds of what society tells you to think.
Right.
You really want to step into this model, and I think that's kind of progressively what happens for each of us.
Right.
We lose those shackles of, the cultural paradigms and the shackles that we put on ourselves from, genetics. I'm not myself, but I'm also my mom, my dad, my grandparents, the great grandparents. I am Cincinnati. I'm Columbus, Ohio. All these places have influences on me, and Think and Grow Rich and other books like this help you to break those shackles. Sometimes, I mean, it might lift you up, but a lot of times it's just something that's holding you back from these environments. And it's learning to see that and to become aware of that so that you can change and think outside the box and realize you're in control of your thoughts and nobody else, and nobody can tell you what to think. That's really the thought that blew my mind.
Right.
Like, I'm not where I want to be. I'm not a multi-millionaire, but man, I'm gonna be.
Right. That's right.
That was 20 years ago, but that stuck with me ever since. And I think it's just
you keep pushing with that same energy and
perseverance,
that same frequency, and everything is unfolding perfectly. Whether you're the only one that can put limits and time frames on things, but what's meant to be and what's flowing and what's opening up is what's happening, and you have control over that. So that's amazing. Go ahead.
I think one thing is you got to learn to love life now. We didn't bring it up, but you always got to talk about little G, grateful. You got to be grateful.
Right.
And I'm grateful for the things that I have now, not things that I have in the future, but what do I have now?
Once this happens, I'll be cool. No, you're cool now. I got everything I need right now.
Amen. Exactly. Once
I
you realize that, you have everything.
Everything you need, you have it. So hey.
Then you get to it's fun. You get to enjoy the journey. You get to enjoy the process. You get to experiment and learn new things, try out stuff. Some things work, some things don't. But
experiment.
It don't matter. You're just having fun. And that, I think, is such a great place to be. And I'm so happy to meet you and to get to hang out with you tonight.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Bradley, for coming on today, man. We got to do this again.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So before we conclude this segment, how do people find you? Find your group, or how do they connect with you, man? I
Yeah.
know I'm going
So
to incorporate the link that you sent me into the
sure,
description of this video, but while I have
sure.
you here live,
I,
tell us how.
I will put my I'll give you some of my links. I can give you my Facebook profile. Also, you can find me on Instagram at I am Bradley Woods. And I have a free ebook about creating your own mastermind. It's at 7secretsmastermind.com. And
7secretsmastermind.com. All
yeah, that's
right.
the best way to get in touch with me. You get the free gift, and then I give you my contact information, and um, that's that's it. And so it's always looking to connect with people that want to better themselves, and they also not just want to better themselves, but they want to make their communities better. They want to uplift humanity, not just themselves. And
Right.
so that's my tribe.
Right. That's amazing. So thank you for coming on again, like I
Always a
said
pleasure.
today, and I appreciate you sharing your insight, your knowledge, your wisdom, and highlighting that amazing book, which was I believe it was the second book that I read on my transformation.
Oh wow,
The first book was by a guy named Justin Perry, and it was I Wish I Knew This
you are
20 years ago.
creators.
Yes, and then I read.
You wrote a book 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was the name of the book. Was called I Wish
Uh,
I Knew This 20 years ago
oh,
by
okay.
Justin Perry.
I have not seen that. I need to read that.
You
I
gotta
didn't know.
read it. It's a short book. Short book.
Okay, I'll look
That's
for
the
it.
when anybody I'm gonna tell you that's a great book for people that are starting out their journey. But no, go back and get that book, because
For
that way
sure.
you can advocate for it. But that's the book I steer people to that are trying to get an understanding of paradigm shifts, laws of attraction. You think what you think, Matt, controls your life. It puts it all in a very simple terms, that book. So that's my go-to book to
It's a
people
great
that are
teacher.
interested in, like, man, this stuff you talking about, man, read this book right here and come back to me.
Yeah.
So start out
Have
with
you
this
met
one.
him? Have you met Justin
No, I
Perry?
haven't met Justin
Okay.
Perry. No,
Yeah,
but
we're manifesting that. We're gonna meet him.
yeah, we're gonna meet him. Yeah, but that's an amazing book. Get that book. I
Yeah,
Wish
I
I Knew
will.
This 20 years ago by Justin
Yes, sir.
Perry. And
Check it out.
I suggest that to everybody else that's looking at the segment, as well as always Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and Laws of Success by
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill. It's very powerful
Can we give a
books,
shout
man.
out to Outwitting the Devil too?
Outwitting the
That's
Devil,
also
Napoleon Hill. I read
another
that
good
too. Amazing how that book is just written, man. It just, yeah,
one.
you gotta look at that. I'm not gonna tell you what it's about, but the devil is not who you think it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, amazing book, man. Thank you, Bradley, and I'll
Always
see
a
you
pleasure.
soon. Hope to
Yes,
talk to
sir.
you soon. No, not hope. I know I will. So
For
let's
sure.
get this. Let's keep moving. And wow. Just thank you everyone for watching. I send you thoughts and energy, positive energy of love and prosperity. May all this that's great continuously flow into your lives, and prosperity and wealth and health and success and love and happiness. May it just continue, just circulate in your life continuously, ceaselessly. Thank you for watching. See you soon. Enlightened, empowered, evolved.